Yes. So in this first one among the 7 issues which we are going to discuss today, G20 is very important. Have you seen? Today also the meeting is going on in New Delhi. India is the chairman for this year 2023 session. So this year this G20 summit is going to be very important for exam, both for prelims and mains. So in prelims, if they want to ask, they will ask you in that is international organizations in current affairs segment. In mains, it will come under GS paper 2. G20 summits, relevance for India. That can be a possible question. How much it is relevant for India? Because India is now the chairman of this session. Already UPSC has asked questions in preliminary examination about G20. I have that question, we'll discuss that. Maybe at the end of the session, we'll discuss some prelims and mains question from the topics which came. G20 is always very important for this examination. Is it clear? Yes. So, this G20 summit this year which is happening in India, this is the 18th summit, 18th G20 summit. And the chairman for this year is India. So it's presided by India. See, what we should know is about G20, some basic facts we should know before going into the topic. So we'll try to understand what is G20, then we will go into what are the issues which are happening this year. Because see, lot of controversies have happened. Have you observed the news? This year, Russia, China, they did not attend the summit which was happening in New Delhi. This was considered to be a very important meeting for India also, because it gives us some ideal platform to showcase our leadership to the world. So India has been doing its best. For the last 1 year, we have organized various series of meetings. And G20, the good thing with G20, it is an inclusive organization. That means what? It will interact with business leaders of G20. Last class we have took about B20, remember? Yes, Business 20 Summit. That was also related to G20 only. In addition to that, there are a lot of cultural ministers they will be meeting. They will be meeting with the NGOs. They will be meeting with the think tanks. They will be meeting with youths among the G20 countries itself. That's why this organization is considered to be very much important. That is a very inclusive organization. But this year, Russia and China, they did not participated in the meeting. And in addition to that, India, what is a major thing which was revolving a controversy before the start of this year G20 summit was whether India is able to come out with any declaration, because that's what is going to be important. Because in G20, declarations or outcome or agreement will be usually driven by any vote system. Anything you have read? How it is done? It is basically done by a consensus process. All the member countries of G20, they have to agree. Then only they can come out with any declaration or outcome. And this year, yesterday the meeting, first day of the meeting happened. And in that, Prime Minister Narendra Modi has declared that there is a consensus which is prevailing. So there is a possible chance of New Delhi declaration coming out of this year G20 summit, and which can be a possible question for your next year prelims. Is it clear? Yes. So before that, we will try to understand what is this G20. In addition to that, in this year in G20, India has done a very much important thing. That is, we have actually suggested for the inclusion of African Union as a member in G20, and questions can be expected from African Union also and its basics. Is it clear? So we'll try to cover this issue in a bit broader manner. It will take some. We will try to understand the issue, then we will give some analysis, because for both prelims and mains this topic is important. Now first, going into G20. So what is this G20 is all about? How it came into existence? That is one thing which we need to understand. G20 is a grouping of developing and developed countries in the world. Developing yes, and when this grouping came into existence, that is also can be, we need to understand. See, this G20 meeting, it actually first came into existence in, that is after the Southeast Asian financial crisis, which happened in 1997 to 98. So this G20, it met for the first time in 1999. That is, that time when it met, actually the finance ministers and central bank governors of the country. That is finance ministers who is the Central Bank of India? RBI. In USA it is Federal Bank. So from that central bank, the governor will try to come and attend the meeting, in the G20 meeting, along with the finance minister. So in India, if you see, it is finance minister is Nirmala Sitharaman, and who is RBI governor? Shaktiganda Das. Remember, in economic class we have discussed, right? So this was the meeting which happened initially, that is after the Southeast Asian financial crisis. Then what happened is, so till from that 1919 till a time period, there was not at a higher level, that is not the head of the country, they were not meeting in this G20 summit. It happened only after the 2008-9 economic crisis. Yes. So what was the crisis? It was a recession. Remember, what is a recession? Increase. Recession. What is recession? What is the exact thing which happens in recession? We have covered in economic class, remember? What is it? Decrease in GDP for 2 or 3 more quarters, remember? So the first thing is, it's related to growth and unemployment. So what will happen to the growth? So there will be a decrease in GDP growth for 2 or more quarters. So one quarterly is how many months? 3 months. So for more than 6 months in a year, the GDP growth rate, if it is continuously decreasing, that can be called as a recession. And when it happened in 2008-9, it started in USA. Then its spillover happened in India also. And India was partially affected by this global economic recession. Remember? Yes. So during that time, to overcome this economic recession, many countries, they actually required lot of funds. So at that time, they took the G20 meeting happened, and the G20 meeting which happened after this, that is economic recession of 2008-9, it happened at the summit level, right? That is from 2010, it was at the summit level. What do you mean by summit level? The heads of the countries will be meeting. That is, yes, come in. The heads of the countries is what? For India, it is the Prime Minister. Russia, President. Yes, the heads of the countries, USA. So all the countries of the world, the heads of the countries, they started meeting only after when? After the economic recession, when it happened in 2008-9. Yes, so till then, it was just a finance minister come, RBI governor or central bank governors meeting, which was, they were actually discussing majorly on issues on economic issues. But from 2010 onwards, what was the consensus which was prevailing is why it was, apart from economics, they started discussing more about how to handle a terrorism issue, how to check tax evasion issues in the international level, and even the issues related to climatic change have been discussed at G20 summits. Is it clear? So there is a changeover which is happening, starting with 1999, where majorly the issues were revolving around economic issues related to promoting trade. They were majorly discussing around that. But from 2010 onwards, they started discussing about the major global issues which were affecting that is the economy. So what were the other related issues which were affecting the global economy, and other major issues concerning the world were also taken into discussion, where in the G20 meeting. Now, going into the G20 summit, one more thing what we need to understand is, see, there is a system of triokia. Just write it. In G20, we have something called as triokia. So what is triokia? That is, see, for example, this year 2023, the G20 summit was presided by whom? India. And in 2022, last year who presided? Any idea? Indonesia. At Bali the meeting happened. And next year it will be presided by Brazil. So what will happen is, regarding the working of the G20, how it functions means, the previous president and the next president and the current president, they all will be having an interaction and discussion. Because what is the main thing, unique thing about G20 is, there will be a sense of continuity in their functioning. So in their agendas, whatever they wanted to do, so they wanted to ensure that there is a continuity in their approach. So to make sure that they follow a system called Triokia, this is a unique system of G20 only. If you see the other international organizations, they don't have this practice. In G20 only, the previous president and the previous chairman and the next consecutive chairman, they will be having a discussion with the current president or chairman. Is it clear? So this is how it functions. And in addition to that, in G20, we also have two important tracks. One is called a financial track. Another is called Sherpa track. So basically, the meeting or the discussions happens around two ways. One is financial track. Another is Sherpa track. The administrative process, how it happens in G20. So financial track means here the finance minister and central bank governors, they will be discussing and meeting. And what about Sherpa track means? Sherpa is nothing but a representative of India. Why we need a representative? This is a person who will, on behalf of our Prime Minister or on behalf of India, he will be discussing. He will be majorly discussing, or he will be making sure that administration of the G20 or the discussion process, who will be representing, it is the Sherpa. So India has its Sherpa. Before, if you see, the Shaktikant Das, RBI governor is there, no? He was once a Sherpa also of G20. Is it clear? So generally we appoint some experts who can function and who can diplomatically express very well at these kind of meetings. We give chance to them to represent at the Sherpa track. Is it clear? So it happens by two ways. One is financial track, another is Sherpa track. And in G20, so we will try to understand who are the members of G20. Because UPSC has already asked a preliminary question about the members of G20. Do you have atlas? You have atlas? Take the atlas. So see, the thing is, in G20 you need to remember 20 member countries. The 20 member countries, UPSC has already asked it. Like not all the 20 member countries. I will show you the question after reading the members. So you need to remember, no other go. So how to remember, sir, 20 countries means, see, one approach what I would say is go with the help of continents. Is it clear? Remember continent wise. For example, if you first go to North America, our world map physical is there, it would be very better. Go to the middle, end of the atlas, you have world map physical. All the continents are represented. So there if you see, first we will go through North American continent. You got it? World map physical? Yes? Or political you go. Political also much better. The boundaries are much represented very clearly. World map political. How many of you are not having atlas? Next class onwards try to bring atlas. It's very important. Because the UPSC preliminary examination, if you see, they are asking places in news. They are mostly picked from places which are coming in current affairs in leading newspapers. Is it clear? Yes. Now coming here, so in North America we have Canada, USA and then Mexico, three countries who are members of G20. Mark it. Who are the three member countries in North America? Canada. Are you able to observe the countries? Can you locate it? Yes, just put some identification or mark in that and write that as G20 or G20, write it in the bracket, those countries. So we have in North America, who are the countries? Canada, USA, then Mexico. Then coming to South America next. In South America, we have two countries. One is Brazil, second is Argentina. One is Brazil, next is Argentina. Yes, are you able to locate these countries? Brazil and Argentina. Now coming to Africa. In Africa, we have South Africa. South Africa is a member of G20 country. Yes, and coming to Europe. Europe, we have Britain, then we have France, then we have Germany, then we have Italy, then we have Turkey. Kindly mark these countries. So 5 countries in Europe: Britain, France, Germany, Italy, Turkey, yes, and in Middle East. And Middle East we have Saudi Arabia. In Middle East we have Saudi Arabia. Yes, and then in Asia we have Russia, then we have China, then we have India, then we have Japan, then we have South Korea, then we have Indonesia, then we have Australia. So try to draw this diagram, it will be very easy. So totally how many countries are coming? Just see that. So 3 plus 2, here 5. And in Europe totally 5. 5 plus 5, 10 plus 11, 12. So 12 plus 3, 15, 17, 19. Totally 19 countries are there. Along with that we have one more organization, that is European Union. So totally there are 19 member countries and a one grouping. So that's why it's called as G20. From this year it has to be called as G21. Yes, because they are trying to bring in India's main initiative is addition of suggestion of inclusion of African Union. Even the African Union president from Gabon, he was actually participated in the meeting. Yes, so that's why I said there is a big difference between how India approaches Africa and how China approaches. So we cannot compare. In last week class we have taken about when we were discussing about BRICS summit. Yes. So this year G20, it is getting more global relevance because it is what many people are saying is that it is considered to be a very historical summit. Why historical summit? Because see, what we have discussed till now is G20, it is a meeting of developing plus developed countries. Remember? Developing plus developed countries. Now, India has suggested African Union. See, African Union totally consists of 55 member countries. Totally 55 members from Africa. African Union members. Yes. So, in Africa, many countries are actually not economically well prosperous. Most of them are in their early stage of development. So, many of them are even considered as least developed and poorer countries. Yes. So in economic class we have studied there is a difference between how we define developed countries and developing countries. Remember? So what is the categorization? So who are the countries who can be called as developed countries? How we calculate them? Based on their income, that is per capita income. Developed countries are those which are having per capita income more than $49,300. $49,300. Yes, and India comes in the category of low middle income country in the per capita income wise. That is, India is having around $6,700 per capita income. What is per capita income? Average income, that is the GDP divided by the total population. Yes, that is GDP per capita or per capita income. So that is actually used to classify the countries whether they come under developing or developed category. And in that, most of the countries which are coming in Africa, they don't come under the category of developing or developed also. Still, India suggested to add African Union as its member. That was actually considered to be a very controversial issue because many members initially resisted to include African Union. So after a series of negotiations, now they have agreed to add African Union. So that is considered to be, that's why we call this meeting as an historic meeting. Is it clear? Yes? And this year G20 summit, if you see, what is the theme of this year G20 summit? Any idea? Vasudeva Kudumbakam. Vasudeva Kudumbakam. That is one earth, one family, one future. One earth, one family, one future. Yes, so this is the 18th summit. BRICS summit is like what is the number? This year, like what was the BRICS summit? 15th BRICS summit, right? BRICS summit was 15th and G20 was, this is 18th summit. So this meeting is going on even today. We have to wait. We cannot now discuss about the outcome of the meeting. What we can understand is, through our Prime Minister's speech yesterday, there is a declaration where consensus they have agreed. Because G20 works on the basis of what? On the basis of consensus. That's when they can come out with an outcome. And if you see here, there is also some problems with G20. That is, so in G20 meeting, whatever decisions they are making, they are not enforceable. Not enforceable. Right? These are some problems or negatives. They are not legally binding. In addition to that. See, even though most of the countries here, they come and sit together and by consensus, they agree to this, but still, it is not legally binding on them to follow this. So what they have to do, in addition to that, they have to come out with national outcomes or any national law to follow that. But since it's not legally binding, whatever agreement or outcome which has been reached at the G20, in that way it's not effective. See, whatever we discuss, you cannot make it into practice. Then the relevance of the meeting, it's questionable. That is one thing we have problem in G20. That is, it is not able to enforce or even not legally binding. In addition to that, some positives we have. There are a lot of positives. That is, first is it is inclusive organization. Second, it is flexible in its approach. Why it's inclusive? Because it tries to include, interact with lot of NGOs, civil societies, think tank, youths, business leaders in its meeting. So it tries to collect their opinions also. Before every year annual meeting, there will be a lot of finance ministers, central bank governors meeting. That is finance track, I said, remember? Finance track and Sherpa track. So in the finance track, every year if you see, finance ministers of all the G20 countries, they will be meeting. What they will, in addition, they will take into consideration is also the feedback they get from various business leaders, people, think tank from G20 countries. That's why this organization is considered to be very inclusive organization comparing to other countries. Is it clear? And it is also flexible in its approach in the sense that See, this year, if you see the India's this G20 summit which is happening, we are giving maximum importance to energy also. That is solar energy and the effects to reduce the or like to counter the impact of climatic change. And even is India is also this year has come out with a statement criticizing the Ukraine war. Is it clear? Have you heard that? Ukraine war which is happening. So we are like in the last year also we had lot of disagreements in the G20 meeting. What was the problem is, see, within G20, if you look at the membership, yes, see here, we have USA also one side in G20, on the other side we have Russia and China. And now what is more prevailing in the international geopolitics, if you see, Russia and China, they are considered to be very closer. There is a nexus which is prevailing more. On the other side, USA is there. And if you see with respect to Ukraine war, India took a very balanced approach because India has not publicly criticized or asked till now Russia to stop the war till now. That was the status. And even Western countries criticized India for that reason, that we are not actually openly asking Russia to stop the war. Because of that, there is a lot of problem which has been happening with respect to global food security. Global food security. There was a global food crisis which happened actually because of the Ukraine war with respect to deficiency in wheat as well as fertilizers. I will discuss that. There is one more topic called Black Sea Grain Initiative, right? So that was related to that. So what happened is, due to the war, where Russia was involved in, were occupying the Ukraine, right? So it almost like the war is now going continuously, and India has not taken a position on the war. So till now, but in this year meeting, what we have done is that we have come out with an outcome where we have criticized Russia, like in the sense that we have asked the Russia to come out with the war. This is a time for peace and come out with the war. So it makes that very clear what to say. India has taken a very good standing this year in the G20 summit with respect to, because Russia and China are considered to be very crucial in the G20 meeting. But this year due to the Ukraine war, because last year what happened was also in the G20 summit at Indonesia, that is it happened at Bali, where what these countries agreed is that they will, like they asked especially Russia to stop the war in Ukraine. And all the G20 countries in Bali last year meeting, in 2022 meeting, they agreed it. Even Russia and China also agreed it. But later what they did is, after the meeting, they backtracked. Are you getting it? That is a problem because it's not a legally enforceable or binding agreement. Whatever consensus or declaration which we are coming out of the G20. And one more thing, in addition to that, what we need to know is G20 don't have an official or no permanent office or secretariat. No permanent office or secretariat is there. It does not have any headquarters. That's the reason. So that's why it's actually called as an informal group. It's not a formal group. It is an informal group. Yes. So we have to wait and see what was the outcome which we are getting today. Only it will be out. After at the end of the meeting, maybe we will have one more class. In the next class, when we are discussing, we will again go into the G20s this year outcome especially. Is it clear? So this much is enough regarding your prelims exam, and we will try to discuss the prelims question now itself so that you will get a clarity. Yes, answer this question. In 2020 only, just recently only they have asked in prelims question, prelims exam. Hmm? Yes, agree? Now we have discussed, so you are very fresh in remembering the names. But you have to remember next year when the exam is coming. That's a challenge in this exam. So try to remember these 20 countries with the help of map. That is continent-wise approach. And one more thing important about this year G20 meeting is the addition of African Union. And with respect to African Union also, we will discuss some points and then we'll move into the next one. African Union. So it actually consists of 55. This is formed in 2002. 2002 it was formed. Initially it was not named as African Union. It was named as African Organization of African Unity. The initial name for this organization is Organization of African Unity in 1963 when it was formed. Later, now it has been renamed in 2002 as African Union and it consists of 55 member countries. 55 member countries. And its headquarters is in Addis Ababa. Go for the map of Ethiopia. What is the capital of Ethiopia? Kindly see that. Addis Ababa. Yes? Mark it. Mark the round the Addis Ababa and put an arrow mark and write headquarters of African Union. There only. So whenever you read the atlas, you should try to remember that. So African Union consists of 55 member countries and its headquarters is in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia. Yes, and where is Ethiopia coming? In the Horn of African region. Yes, so what are the neighboring countries? Somalia is there. Yes, and next Djibouti is there. Yes, Djibouti, and then Eritrea is there. Yes, all these countries are also called as Horn of Africa. Horn of Africa. Because it looks like an horn, this region. So the countries which are located in this region are referred as Horn of Africa. Yes? See, in UPSC, in map-based segment, they can also ask the borders of the countries also. Is it clear? So you need to be very aware. Whenever you read any map or any country, study the capital, see the countries which are border to that, and what is the coastal, what are the ocean which is there, and what are the mountains, tribal people, the weather. So you should have some idea, because geography, when you go for mains in GS1, you have also world geography, remember? So you need to relate with all this whenever you study. So this much is enough as of now. Once we enter next week, we will get more information about the outcome of the G20 meeting. That time we will discuss about all the related issues. Yes? Now going into the second topic. What is the next topic we have given? Simultaneous elections. Simultaneous elections. What is simultaneous elections in simple term? It is nothing but conducting the, that is Lok Sabha, that is the Lok Sabha election is a national election. And in addition to that, the state assembly elections. So both of these we are conducting together. Sir, why should we conduct together, sir? As of now, it's very simple only, no? Going good. Why should we disturb the process? Yes? Question should come, no? If you see in India, after independence, till in the 1960s, till 1965 or 67, India was actually having simultaneous elections throughout the country. Why that was possible? Because after India's independence, what we did? See, almost like all the states, they went for elections at the same time, once it was formed. But later, what were the problems which happened is, see, there were problems of emergency in where? National emergency was there in 1975. Yes, in India during the Indira Gandhi government's tenure. And in various states also, state emergency can be implemented. Under which article it is? Article 356. So state emergency under Article 356. And there is a chance of no confidence motion being passed against the government, state government. Because of that, the state government can collapse. So due to all the process, the simultaneous election process in India got disturbed. So till for the initial some 15 years or 20 years after India's independence, we were having simultaneous elections only. After that, we had Lok Sabha elections separately and then state assembly elections separately in the country. Is it fine? So this was a practice. But now there is a proposal by the current government, and even the Law Commission of India has also recommended in its report that simultaneous election should be implemented in the country. Why it should be implemented? Why? What they are saying is it is having some positives. That is, it will lead to reduction in cost of conducting elections. And it will also lead to reduction in the administrative strain. Administrative strain. What is that administrative strain? Deployment of security forces, government officers. Yes, periodical conduction will lead to more deployment of all the security forces and unnecessary wastage of taxpayers' money. Yes, so we have these advantages, and in addition to that, even the governments which are there in the country, they can focus more on development than electioneering, because throughout the year now elections are happening one way or the other. In parts of India, if you see, elections are happening, keep on happening. So most of the countries, most of the states in India, what they are doing, they actually focus on the elections only. That time what happens is the development, it is getting compromised. In addition to that, there is also an policy implementation also, it gets disturbed. Why policy implementation gets disturbed? You know that once the elections are actually declared, immediately moral code of conduct comes into practice. You know that once there is a notification of election schedule, moral code of conduct, it comes into practice. And once the moral code of conduct comes into practice means what will happen is till the elections are going to take place, this MCC will be there. Now what they need to do is the political parties, they need to follow certain set of rules. So among that, what they need to do is they should, especially the ruling government, it should not come and announce a new policy. Is it clear? Why? Because that may influence the voters and there will not be any neutrality. So to prevent that, we restrict the ruling government to come out with announcement of new welfare scheme, especially during the course of when that is when moral code of conduct is in existence, is in practice, especially the time period before the election. Is it clear? The 1 or 2 months before the election schedule. So this will be in practice. So because of that, what is happening is that the policy implementation in India is periodically getting disturbed. Is it or not? Yes. So for the rectify all this, the simultaneous election is considered to be a very good measure. Is it fine? Yes. Now, what are the problems in simultaneous elections? Any problems which you can suggest or tell? Huh? Huh? Federalism. Yes, very good. Issue of federalism. What is the issue of federalism is, what our government is saying there is that this is the one nation, one election. That is ONOE. That's how they say. That is like GST, they say one nation, one tax. So they wanted to bring uniformity. See, India is a country of which believes in the philosophy of unity in diversity. You cannot bring a uniformity in the diversity of the Indian culture. Yes. So one nation, one election, it may try to, like what to say, it will bring compromise with respect to federalism issue. Federalism means you need to bring the concern of the states also. Is it or not? So there is a union of what, center and states opinion or decision should be respected. But what is happening is, see here, one nation, one election will compromise which one? The issue of federalism. That is respecting not the states' rights. Is it or not? Simultaneously, conducting the elections also will bring election issue, one big problem. What is the election issue problem is, see, national elections, parliamentary elections or Lok Sabha elections are usually fought along on which issue? National issue. Is it or not? Yes. But when it comes to state assembly elections, they fight the elections on what terms? Regional issue. Now what is happening is, if you implement simultaneous election in the country, there will be a blending of these issues which may happen. So people may get confusion. Is it clear? So what will happen is blending of issues. So which issue should be given priority? The people may get confused. So through that process, the voting behavior may get affected. Why the voting behavior may get affected? Because the people will be getting confused between the regional issues and national issues. Which one should be given priority? And in addition to that, see, if you bring periodical elections in the country, one good thing is often people's voices will be given respect in the country. Is it or not? Because what is very important in a democracy is taking into the opinion or feedback of the people. Is it or not? That's why we say it's a government of the people, by the people, for the people. So who are these representatives? They represent the people only. On their behalf, we elect the representatives in a democracy. That's why India is called as representative democracy. Yes, in polity would have studied all this. But what is important is, we need to consider the individual voters' opinions also and give respect to that. But when we go for simultaneous elections, the voters will not be given options, or their issues might get compromised. And one more thing with respect to simultaneous elections is that, what are the other issues you can say? Huh? Yes, caste, with respect to caste, there is a problem. And one more thing is, simultaneous elections have also another problem. Any other? It diminishes accountability. It diminishes accountability. How accountability? See, if you have periodical elections, people will be coming and voting periodically. That means you are getting more accountability. The elected representatives need to prove their accountability often in elections. But if you are reducing the number of elections, means then what happens is people's opinions are getting reduced. Is it clear? So it will like diminish the accountability. And when it comes to caste also, as he said, there is no actually like scientific clarification, because what they are saying is that especially two costs can increase. One is with respect to procurement of electronic voting machines and VVPAT, and second is with respect to storage, warehousing cost. So two costs can increase. One is, see, now actually what they are saying is, as per some estimation, we need around some 30 lakh government need to purchase, Election Commission of India need to purchase electronic voting machine, and that is that voter verifier, paper audit trial. So these two things they need to purchase. So that is like additional cost for the government. So that is Election Commission. Second, they need to store. Is it or not? So the warehousing cost also will increase. So that's why they say that it cannot be agreed that simultaneous elections will surely go for reduction in cost of elections, conducting the elections. Is it clear? But what are the constitutional requirements? So constitutional requirements, it is, they need to go for amendment of Representation of People Act 1951, and then constitutional amendments. We require constitutional amendments, and then changes in rules of procedures. Rules of procedure of Lok Sabha and state legislative assemblies. So we need these amendments. Are you getting what I am telling? Yes. See, if you want to implement simultaneous elections today in India, easily we can't do it. We require some changes in constitution, and laws needs to be changed, because this is a federal issue. Is it or not? So federal issue requires changes needs to be done in constitution also. So we require constitutional amendments. Second, we need changes in the conduct of elections in Representation of People Act 1951, RPA. Then the rules of procedures of assemblies, that is Lok Sabha and state legislative assemblies, also needs to be changed. Is it clear? And if you see, the major problem in implementing simultaneous elections in India today is, see, even if you implement today simultaneous elections, suppose tomorrow due to the practice of no confidence motion or due to anti-defection law, a ruling government can go collapse. Yes, can fall. Yes, then what will happen? So there is a confusion. Then again they need to wait, or you need to bring up a new government. So what many political experts are suggesting is that in the place of no confidence motion, what is no confidence motion? The government who is having the majority, so the opposition parties or other members of the house, they can come up with no confidence motion. What they will ask the ruling government to prove their majority in the house. Why? Because they may feel that they don't demand or they don't command majority in the house. So during that time, they will go for voting. Is it or not? Recently in Lok Sabha they went for voting. No confidence motion was moved recently. So for that, what they are saying is, what we require is a constructive no confidence motion. Constructive See, what is the basic difference is, in no confidence motion is passed, means is it accepted, and the ruling government does not prove their majority. What is majority? For example, in Lok Sabha we have 545 seats. So what is majority here? 273. 273. That is half plus 1, right? What is majority? That is this number divided by 2 plus 1. That is majority. Yes, so they need to get this number. Otherwise the government will fall and elections has to be conducted. See, but in simultaneous elections are happening. One government is going for no confidence motion, one state government. Because of that, now other states also may get affected, or that government has to come out with new elections. So there is a more confusion in the process. It cannot be really implemented practically. There are a lot of problems. Yes, and even there is something called as anti-defection law. What is anti-defection law? And here, before that, constructive no confidence motion means, here what we will do is, a government which is losing its no confidence motion, not able to prove its majority, will be like followed by a succession government. Is it or not? Next government will be there. Yes, that person will be elected. Before this government is going. So that is the process we will do in constructive no confidence motion. That is, constructive no confidence motion will allow the simultaneous election to prevail. Because otherwise there will be a vacuum in the government. Is it or not? When one government is not able to prove majority, means it will affect the process. In that place we need to go for constructive no confidence motion. And anti-defection law means what? When it was passed? In 52nd Constitutional Amendment Act 1985. In 1985, that is any politician who is getting elected on a party and changing the party after getting elected, they will be called as defected. So, as per anti-defection law, they can be removed from the party. So, due to these issues, simultaneous elections are still questionable in the country. Yes, because caste they are not going to save, and people's accountability is questionable, and most of the times people may come out confused voting behavior, whether they need to give national issue priority or regional issue priority. In that matter, national issue or national party may take over the regional party. They may try to dominate the elections. Is it clear why this government is coming out with that? Because what experts are saying is that it will generally favor a national party, not regional party. Is it clear? That's why this government is very serious. And even in the G20 meeting, they have renamed India as Bharat only. Yes? So, a lot of controversies. So, we have to wait and see. But one good thing is, if New Delhi declaration is coming out, seriously, it is a historical landmark. Yes? Now, going into the next one, third topic, what is the next one? E-rupee. E-rupee, or it is also called as Central Bank Digital Currency, that is CBDC, or it is also called as digital rupee. Very, very important. Last year actually this question I was sharing with my students, and this question exactly like on this topic one question came in 2023 prelims. Why is then sir discussing this again means again they may ask you, because again it's in news now. See there are things UPSC are very fond of. Whenever economic related issues are coming, and if it is getting their attention, they may ask the question again a question. That's why we are expecting on G20. I have to share your question, right? UPSC prelims question they asked already, but there is again a chance for them to ask. Why? Because India is this year G20 chairman, and we have like spent a lot now. This meeting is happening in Bharat Mandapam in New Delhi, and almost like Delhi they are saying as is now in a state of lockdown, almost a very tight security. So India has to come out with something productively, not just the like what to say inclusion of African Union. We should also come out with like giving a very good clarity, especially with respect to energy, and then tax evasion measures. We'll discuss that. In PPT we need to discuss about, there was one more concept called base erosion and profit shifting. I will discuss that. That is also UPSC have asked already. Now coming to this topic, this is very important for your economic section, current affairs in GS prelims, and when it comes to mains, it can be asked in GS paper 3, economic section, or in science and tech. They can ask you, but mostly the chances of asking you in prelims is more rather than mains, this topic. Yes? So what is e-rupee or digital rupee? Just draw this map, we will discuss. Very easy if you understand this. Yes? First focus is, try to draw this diagram. Wholesale, retail. That's all. This much simple. E-rupee is. If you understand this diagram means this topic is done. Yes. Completed. See what is digital rupee, e-rupee or central bank digital currency is, see, sir, we already have papers, coins. Yes, who publishes these paper notes, currency notes in the country? RBI. And who publishes, who publishes or mints the coins in India? Ministry of Finance. Yes. And apart from that, now our government is planning out with coming with the digital rupee. Yes, and who will be maintaining this? Again RBI only. Again RBI only. Sir, is there any difference between paper currency, coins and this digital rupee? Means there is no difference. Why there is no difference? Because it functions like a, again, like a token based system. What they will do is they will give digital tokens. Digital tokens, and these tokens can be saved in your, it can be used in your wallet mode also for paying, like a wallet mode. There is no actually any big difference between digital rupee and the paper and coin system. And but one more thing is, with the coming of digital rupee, see now if you have paper currency, paper, you have print notes with you, currency notes, let's take, you have some 5,000, 10,000 rupees cash. Today you go and deposit in a bank, you get a interest, is it or not? But the digital rupee which you are maintaining online, for that there is no interest is given. Kindly note it, no interest. But the cash which you maintain online gets an interest from bank. Bank pays you an interest. Why? Because bank can use that money to lend to an borrower. And it can make an what? Profit out of that. But when it comes to digital rupee, the customers are not paid any interest for maintaining this. Is it clear? They are not paid. Why they are not doing is because if we pay interest for that means, then all the people will not go to the banking system. They will start using this and there will be a collapse of currency notes in the country. Is it clear? So we are not motivating that practice. And coming here, first what we need to understand is how this e-rupee operates. E-rupee can, still it's in the procedural line. Be clear, RBI has already has done pilot project on this implementation of e-rupee. Now it has tested this, how they wanted to do, their methodologies. That is first it tested at wholesale and retail transaction. What is wholesale transaction? Wholesale transaction means suppose when you are buying government securities, or else when you are buying shares, government securities or shares, that is referred as, or even interbanking transfer. Interbanking transfer. Remember interbanking transfer we have discussed in economic class. Banks also may not have liquidity all the time. They may face crunch when suddenly an depositor is coming and demanding the money. They may ask to the other banks also at a interbank rate. Yes, what is that? Marginal standing facility and liquidity adjustment facility concept we have discussed. Yes, so for that interbanking transfer between the banks when they wanted to do money transfer, or when you buy the government securities or shares, that time wholesale transactions will be implemented. That is referred as, those transactions are referred as wholesale transaction. Then what is retail transaction? All those transactions which we are doing, that like when we go to any tea shop or any hotel, you have food and you pay it, right? Using Google Pay, Phone Pay. Yes, same manner, if you do using digital rupee, all the consumer peer-to-peer transaction, all the peer-to-peer transactions. Or even between peer to business, everything. Peer to business or peer to peer. That is, when you are in the shop, it is referred as peer to business transaction. You transfer it to your friend, that is peer to peer transaction. Is it clear? So all these transactions comes under retail transactions. As of now, in the India, RBI actually, if you see in the last year in September month, actually same 1 year back, they came out with a proposal to implement digital rupee or e-rupee in India, and later they have started the pilot project in last year November. At that time what they did is, they did the pilot project for wholesale transaction in India at some regions only, not everywhere. They have tested this project and it was successful, and now then they are now in the process of testing these retail transactions also. Is it clear? So in few sectors they have implemented. What are they? Textile and only. So they have implemented it in textile sectors. Yes. And here how it will operate, that is, this digital token or digital rupee which is going to be created, see, it can be maintained directly, means in direct method it will be maintained. Who will maintain it? Who will have the accountability? What is accountability? Who will issue it? Who will store it? Who will verify the transaction? See, there are three things which are involved. Is it or not? So how will you get the digital rupee? First from your bank. Is it or not? So instead of your money you can convert. You have some 500 rupees. 100 rupees you want to convert into digital rupee, remaining it will be 400 rupees in your balance, 100 rupee will be digital rupee. Is it clear? And who will maintain this? Who will issue this transaction? And who will verify this? That we have some two options. One is, in direct method it will be managed by RBI themselves. In direct method it will be done by RBI themselves, but in indirect method, along with RBI, they will take the assistance of banks. Any other banks also they may take assistance. That is indirect method. Is it clear up to this? And then it also has online and offline method. It also has online and offline. What is online? Like you have Google Pay, Paytm wallet you have, right? Paytm wallet. Yes, same like that wallet, if you use with the help of internet, you can transfer it to another person. And how it actually works is, it will work with the help of, see, even it is the application, how it will operate is that it can be operated with the help of email also, with the email and password. You will get a code or password which we need to share with the another person. When he enters a code, so followed by your your unique number or identity, then the transaction will be verified. Is it clear? So that way how we do in online method. And there is another method called offline. That is where there is no internet, especially in rural regions. So they can also do transaction with the help of SMS. So this works on the mode of email. So this works like an OTP, like a OTP. So what you do with the help of your SMS only, you share the code with them. So by using that code, they enter, they will get that how much money you are transferring, they will get it. You don't require really any internet here. That's why they say this is going to make a big revolution in India. We'll see some benefits also today. We have in the PPT, we have a lot of content to discuss about this. Yes, so understood this too, how online and offline works. Online means what? When there is internet it operates. So it operates with the help of email or followed by a OTP, a unique address of the person. And offline is also operates without the help of internet. In remote regions of India, they use an unique password to verify their transaction. And we also have two methods here. One is token system, second is account system. Token system means it is like a check system. So how checker operates? The person whom you want to transfer the money is you just how much money you need to transact will be given. In the same manner, like a check, you can use this. You can take advancedly. You can maintain this digital rupee in your wallet, and you can issue this also like a check to any other person whom you want to transfer. That is check system. And account system is like it will be maintained by RBI or other banks. Like savings bank's account directly. There is no difference. Like how you maintain savings bank account, same manner banks will maintain your digital rupee in a separate account. Is it clear what I am saying? This is account based system like your savings bank account. But check-based system is little additional feature. Is it clear? So these are the concepts which we need to understand like when it comes to digital rupee. Fine? Understood? Any doubts here? Huh? Everybody understood what is direct method, indirect method, what is wholesale, what is retail, what is online, what is offline, what is account system, what is token system. Yes, so based on this, RBI is still experimenting this. It's in the pilot project, but soon we may come out with this digital rupee, because what they are saying is digital rupee has many positives. Can you say some positives? It will increase financial inclusion. What is financial inclusion? Financial services like micro banking services, banking, insurance, credit services, you are able to reach the poorer, rural, vulnerable, tribal, backward regions of the country also. You are including all the sectors of the people, rich as well as the poor. That is financial inclusion. So digital rupee, why it is increase the financial inclusion? Because rural people also, they may use it, because it doesn't requires really any smartphones as well as internet. That's the main advantage. And second, what they are saying is it will reduce the cost of transferring funds. Especially remittances. What is remittances? It will come under which component in balance of payment? Which account? Capital account. Current account. Remittances. Current capital? Huh? Others? Huh? See, current account includes three components. One is balance of trade, second is balance of services, third is transfer payments. In transfer payments, remittances, gifts, all these are included. Clear? Don't confuse. UPSC may ask you that. Remittances means what? Our Indians who are working in other countries, they transfer some of their salaries to their family members. Yes, that is very crucial for India, because the high remittances Indians which they are sending to India, it will impact our balance of payment positively. Is it or not? Yes, our current account may improve. And what they are saying is, see now, if they wanted to transfer money to India from other countries, they are paying a lot of commission charges, banking charges. So that will be eliminated here, that will be reduced here with the coming of digital rupee. That will be very easy and very faster and very secure. Why it is also considered to be secure? In the sense, it uses something called as blockchain technology. How digital rupee operates? On the principle of blockchain technology. What is blockchain technology? See here, blockchain technology is like, see, it will be like a series of blocks will be there in the network. That is, this block, if somebody is hacking this block, which one? Any particular block in the networking system, he need to crack the password for the previous block as well as the next block. That is a unique thing in blockchain technology. What they need to do if they really want to hack any network means, not just a single password or single block. Even if he is actually cracking a single block means, he needs to verify, because the continuity or the information which is there, the information generally the digital information is stored in blocks. And the information which is stored, it will not be in a complete information in the block. Some of the information will be in the previous block and some will be in the other block. So what happens is that any hacker who tries to enter this blockchain technology, they may not be successful, because even if he is successful in cracking this password, he cannot verify the identity of the previous block and the next block. That is why they say hacking a blockchain technology is really very tough. Is it clear? So only it is considered to be very secured system now. And we have already various digital currencies like Bitcoin, Bitcoins, and then Ethereum. Yes, so they are already there. But in India, it is considered to be illegal. That's a basic difference between e-rupee versus other digital currency. Because RBI don't recognize Bitcoins in India. You know that? RBI really, till now it has not recognized Bitcoins or other Ethereum, other digital currencies. But they also use blockchain technology only. It's a safe only. The networking system is safe. But India wanted to come out with own currency. Why? Because what they are believing is that now they, by bringing this digital rupee, it will also enable us to promote trade, regional trade. That is with many countries like Russia and other Central Asian countries. Now India is in the process of doing transaction in their currencies only. And if we are able to do in digital rupee means it will be a revolutionary measure. Because the transactions will happen peer-to-peer. The transactions will be peer-to-peer without intermediary. What is the meaning without intermediary? Today in banking system, if you do any banking, for example, you go to a shop or bank or any hotel, let's take, you go to a hotel and you pay the bill using UPI. Now, how the transaction happens? You initiate the transaction and the transaction reaches your banking server. Is it or not? And then the banking server confirms it. Then it reaches the whom? The bank, especially the bank of the hotel, the person, the concerned person whom you are paying the bill. Yes? So here without the intermediary, without the role of bank, directly transactions can be done from wallet to wallet, the digital rupee transactions. No need of any intermediary. And since this uses blockchain technology, it is considered to be secured also, safe also. And it will be, the transactions will happen very faster here. Since there is no intermediary, not only the cost of servicing is reduced, as well as the speed at which you can transfer safely, also it is ensured here. Is it clear? That's why they are saying there are many advantages in digital rupee, and India also wants to represent digital rupee as an international rupee. We are planning to internationalize our rupee also. So in that process, this digital rupee will help. Is it clear? But still, we have some problems also with respect to digital rupee. What are the problems? Can you tell? What are some of the challenges or problems? See, first one is privacy and security only. Security and privacy. Because what they are saying is, see, if you do cash transaction till now, cash transaction is considered to be anonymous transaction. Anybody know that you have transacted? You go and give cash. Let me give cash to him. He gives cash to someone. Now, how he got cash? They may not know. If he remembers only, they will get to know. Otherwise, the transaction is mostly anonymous. But if you bring in digital rupee, the transactions will be recorded. Yes. So, people may still prefer to use only cash transactions. That's what they are saying. And even in the last 1 year in India, the amount of cash transaction has increased in the country. So in that way, it is questionable. Second, if there is a, what they are saying is that there may also compromise in the privacy or security may happen in the network. If something happens means it will be a big catastrophe for the system. Second, what they are saying is, in digital rupee, what are the other problems we can face? Usage of digital rupee, skill training. Yes, then what are the other problems? See, in India, the biggest problem is digital illiteracy. Digital illiteracy. What is the meaning? The total number of people in India who are using who are having the awareness of financial knowledge, that is technological knowledge. Already in India we are facing a big digital divide. Digital divide. What is the meaning of digital divide? That is technological divide. People in urban areas, they have more access to mobile phones, internet technology compared to rural areas. So there is a digital divide between urban and rural areas. Now with the coming up of digital rupee, see, even though they can happen in without the help of internet in villages, people should have literacy. Is it or not? How to use it? Yes. So it requires trust and practice in the system. So that may affect the implementation of digital rupee. Is it clear? So next topic. Fourth one, Black Sea Grain Initiative. Yes. Understood? E-rupee. Huh? You need to remember, again questions can be asked with respect to various, what do you mean by wholesale, what do you mean by retail, online, offline, direct, indirect, and then what is another, token and account systems. Questions can be asked. Now next is Black Sea Grain Initiative. What is this initiative? See, this Black Sea Grain Initiative, it is an initiative which was started in last year. Last year they have started this, July 22, for a time period of 120 days or 4 months. They have agreed. Who have agreed? Especially UN, Turkey, and then Russia, plus Ukraine. So they have agreed in a meeting that, see, in the war affected region of Ukraine, what was happening is, see, currently Ukraine is considered to be, Ukraine and Russia, both Ukraine and Russia, they are considered to be the bread basket of the world. Bread basket. Bread basket means what? They produce lot of wheat. They supply wheat in large number across the world. And last year, if you see, wheat price raised in the country, and there was a food crisis also which happened because there was deficiency in the supply of wheat. Many countries which were dependent on Ukraine and Russia for their wheat consumption, they were suddenly cut off of the supply. Why? Because of the war in Ukraine. So Ukraine government, even Russia also, for that matter, both of them, they supply lot of wheat, barley, sunflower oil, sunflower seed, then rapeseed. So all these are supplied in large numbers to the world countries. Many countries are completely dependent on them. Since war is going on in Ukraine, that is between Russia and Ukraine, because of that, many countries got affected. What happened? The global food supply chain system got broken because of that. So to make that to come into practice, that is, this Black Sea Grain Initiative deal was negotiated last year, and it was implemented temporarily just for 4 months. And what happened is, see, in Ukraine we have identified 3 portal region. I will give you the name. You can write it in PPT, it's there. So in 3 portal cities, we have allowed the Ukraine government to transport wheat, barley to other countries for a time period of what? 120 days. So while transporting that, they should not be affected. They should not be affected by war. Those who are involved in transporting the wheat, to make sure that they have formed a meeting, that is Joint Coordination Committee. Joint Coordination. They have created a committee. That is JCC, which consists of UN, Turkey, Russia and Ukraine. So these countries, they came together and they negotiated. Who actually was the mediator here? Turkey. Because Turkey was not actually directly related to the issue, but even it played a role of mediator, because Turkey was mainly dependent on wheat from these regions. Is it clear? And second, one more thing, if you see, Turkey is a member of NATO. Can you locate Turkey in the map faster? What is the capital of Turkey? Istanbul. And Turkey is considered to be, which continent Turkey belongs? Asia or Europe? Asia, Europe. Turkey is considered to be bicontinental. It belongs to both Europe as well as Asia. It's located between these two continents. Huh? Can you see Turkey? Yes. Nearby, can you see Black Sea? Black Sea. Black Sea. What are the countries which are bordering Black Sea? Can be asked in UPSC preliminary examination in map based questions. See the map and tell me firstly, what are the countries? We have Russia here, Russia, Georgia, and then Turkey, yes, then Ukraine, then Romania, Bulgaria, then that's all. Romania, Bulgaria. See the world map and tell me. See, this can be a possible question. UPSC has already asked lot of times on this. Countries which are bordering Black Sea, Caspian Sea, Central Asian countries, borders, and even in Middle East regions. Lot of cities, places in news. So this can be a possible question because this Black Sea Grain Initiative was negotiated and implemented last year, and this year again it's in news now in the last 1 week because they are planning to make this into action again because this will solve the global food security crisis. This Black Sea Grain Initiative. Is it clear? Go through the atlas again and verify the countries. We have listed it. So, try to remember the names. Use some mnemonics. Yes, some code word to remember. Yes. So Georgia, Russia, Turkey, Ukraine, Romania, Bulgaria. Yes. So what is this Black Sea Grain Initiative is about now? Now we are actually trying to revive the same thing what we have implemented last year. Because last year, temporarily, Russia and Ukraine, they came to an agreement. The mediating role was done by Turkey. But Turkey, if you see, Turkey is a member of NATO. Turkey is a member of NATO, and NATO countries, they support actually NATO along with US. The US allies whom they support in the Russia-Ukraine war, Ukraine. We know that very well, and even most of the European countries. But Turkey was considered to be an exemption here. Even though it was part of NATO, it actually openly did not criticize Russia during the Russia-Ukraine war. So, Russia had a goodwill towards whom? Turkey. So, because of the goodwill, Turkey was able to bring Russia to the table, negotiation table. Is it clear? That is the reason Turkey was playing a mediating role in the Russia-Ukraine this food crisis, food conflict, because here out of the Sea Grain Initiative, both actually Russia and Ukraine has to get benefit while implementing. Is it or not? Because it allowed them to export the grains through the portal cities in Ukraine. But what happened is in the Black Sea Grain Initiative, the problem is Russia did not get benefited. Russia did not benefit. And again, Russia also it did not implement. It actually unilaterally it came out of the agreement zone, saying that we also export Russia also exports wheat in large number to other country. What they said is when we allowed Sea Grain Initiative, Ukraine was exporting wheat mainly to majority of middle and high income countries. And what was the objective? They said in Black Sea Grain Initiative is to maintain global food security. but we are not, Ukraine was not exporting to poorer countries or least developed countries. What they are doing, they are exporting only to middle income and high income countries. So it is not going to ensure food security for the world. So Russia said that, so we are not implementing the agreement, or we are having difference of opinion, and it came out. And in addition to that, what it said is, even when Russia was trying to export wheat to other countries, Russia was unable to do that trading. Why? The payment which needs to happen to the other country, the Russian payments with other countries have been what? Has been frozen by USA. With many countries were not allowed to trade with Russia during this Ukraine war. Because of that, Russia did not get any benefit, but Ukraine was getting benefit. Because of these issues, Russia came out of this Black Sea Grain Initiative last year itself. Now what the many experts are trying to do is that to revive the Black Sea Grain Initiative again. That's why it was in news. Is it fine? Yes. Going to the next topic. Next topic. What is the one we have given? Eritrea, that is United Nations Commission for Council for Human Rights. United Nations Council for Human Rights, it has condemned especially Eritrea's Eritreans who are seeking asylum in Israel. Go to the map of Middle East. Israel, can you locate? Israel. Middle East. Eritrea's asylum concerns in Israel. Can you locate Israel? There is a city, Tel Aviv. Can you locate Tel Aviv? That is where this problem happened now. See, what is it? Before going into this issue, we will try to understand there is a difference between asylum and refugee. Asylum and refugee. See, somebody who is getting affected by war, getting affected by war, human right violence, or getting like getting the danger of war, that is danger of getting persecution in their country because of any military role. So what they will do, they will fear of their life in their country, and they will try to enter other country. Is it or not? So while entering that, before entering the next country, so while leaving the country where they are residing and shifting to the other country, till that point of time they were referred as asylum. And if the country which they are entering, which they legally recognizes them to settle there, that is to reside there temporarily, then it is referred as refugee. Are you getting what is the basic difference? What is the status of asylum means? Asylum is a person who is seeking temporarily shelter in other countries. But it is still the point when they are actually approving that. Because the country has to approve now. Permission they have to give now when you enter the country. If they don't agree means you cannot reside in the country. So if they agree means then that person will be called as refugee in the country. Till they agree, the person will be called as asylum. Is it clear? He is seeking the asylum in that country. So this is one thing. Now what happened in African country? Can you go and locate where is Eritrea? It is also located in the Horn of African region. Near Ethiopia, Somalia, Djibouti, in the Horn of African region. It is also part of Horn of Africa. What is the capital of Eritrea? Asmara, market, very important. It comes under part of Horn of African region. That is, what are the neighboring countries? Somalia. Somalia in the past has been affected by terrorists from Al-Qaeda region, a division of Al-Qaeda called Al-Shahab. Al-Shahab. This is a terrorist organization which is very active. It is a part of Al-Qaeda group only, which is still active. and controlling some parts of government also. Some parts of, they are running like government. In some regions they have taken control. In Somalia, Ethiopia is also affected by poverty and a lot of war. Yes, so Horn of Africa, it belongs to Horn of Africa. In this country, there is a lot of human right violation which is going on now. Because of that, the people, they left the country, and where they have shifted to Israel, where they were seeking refugee status. Now what happened is, these people who have entered as refugee in Israel, the Israeli government now, they have actually forced these people to go out of the country. Yes, that's why it's in news, and it's considered to be in violation of United Nations, that is Convention on Refugee Rights, because United Nations, what is this? What we have written? United Nations Council for Refugees. Huh? United Nations, so we'll come to this. This organization I will give. This is the organization which is concerned with protecting the refugees and those who are seeking asylum at the international level. Now what happened is, these people have been forced to move out of the Israel, which is in violation of principle of non-refuelment. Write it, very, very important. Very, very important. Principle of non-refuelment. There are two principles internationally. One is right to asylum. Right to asylum. This is part of human rights. Under human rights criteria, the countries has to give asylum status to whoever is coming, because on humanitarian ground, if they return back means they may suffer. So what is principle of non-refuelment? Any people or anybody who is actually due to conditions of war or cruelty or human rights violation or because of violence which is happening in the country, they are shifting from one country to other country, they should not be sent back. This concept is referred as what? Principle of non-refuelment. This is considered to be one of the core principles in United Nations with respect to refugee rights. And Israel is a member of this organization. That is United Nations Council of Human Rights. United Nations Council of Human Rights for Refugees. In this organization, Israel is one of the member now. So as a member, they need to follow the principle, because under this we have two protocols. One is 1951, second is 1967 protocol. So they need to follow this. They cannot send these Eritreans back to the or out of the country. And for that, UN has actually criticized this Israeli government mainly, because since you are member of that, you should not do that. You have to give the right to refugee to them for the time being, because if they return back to the country, they may be suffering from persecution also. Is it clear? Yes. So this principle of non-refuelment is very important thing. And with respect to this, if you see, India is not a member of this. India not a member. Note this. That is also very important. Why India is not a member? Why? Otherwise, Pakistan, Bangladesh, whom we had partition after that, all the people would have came back to India, means it would be a big refugee problem for India. That is the reason India was not part of it. But India has been actually having right to asylum in its fundamental rights of the Indian Constitution. Under Article 21, we follow the human rights also. We try to give right to asylum to people, especially from Myanmar. We had lot of Rohingya refugees who entered India, especially they first entered to Bangladesh and then to Assam, West Bengal regions, and we have given temporary shelter to these people under the principle of what? Article 21, that is a right to asylum. Is it clear? But India was not officially part of which one? This United Nations Refugee Rights Commission. Now going to the next one. What is the next topic? ASEAN Summit. So ASEAN Summit, what is the update is, see what is ASEAN? It is Association of Southeast Nations. When it was formed? In 1967. Kindly note it. In 1967 at Bangkok it met. So it was first it met in 1967 in Bangkok. Only by 5 countries are initially member of that. But today if you see, ASEAN consists of 10 member countries. What are the 10 member countries? Any idea? We have Myanmar, then we have Thailand, then Laos, then Cambodia, then Vietnam, then we have Malaysia, then we have Singapore, then Indonesia, then we have Philippines, then we have Brunei. So totally for 10 countries. 10 countries are parts of, that is those who are to the east of India, these 10 countries. Some of them are also referred as tiger economies. Thailand, Vietnam, because they are considered to be very fast growing southeast economies. So these 10 countries, they form members of ASEAN. Myanmar, Thailand, Laos, Cambodia, Vietnam, Malaysia, Singapore, Indonesia, Philippines, Brunei. Is it fine? You need to remember along with the G20 members which we have discussed. Now what is the controversy? Why this ASEAN summit or ASEAN meeting or grouping was in news means, now in respect to Myanmar, what is happening is like in 2021 there was a military coup which happened. In Myanmar, military coup happened. That is the army. Before that, there was a democratic government elected by, that is democratic government presided by Aung San Suu Kyi. Aung San Suu Kyi. So she was the president of Myanmar, of the democratically elected government. Even before this, Myanmar was for lot of time it was under military rule only. But due to lot of protest, especially by Aung San Suu Kyi, who is having inspiration from whom? Our Gandhian movement only. She has literally followed the non-violence principle, and later the military government in Myanmar, they went for what? They actually came out with an election process where they gave opportunity to opposition parties to participate in election. And in that election which was first conducted, the democratic government under whom Aung San Suu Kyi, they won the elections in an historic manner. And later what happened is the military government there, they changed some law in parliament and made sure that Aung San Suu Kyi could not become the president of the country. So due to that, her party members only, they took over the presidency under her guidance. But in 2021, again this military, they took over the Myanmar government, and Aung San Suu Kyi has been kept under house arrest now. In addition to that, there is a lot of uncertainty and violence which is happening in Myanmar, because there is also a clash of communities. That is, if you see in Myanmar, we have Rakhine State. Rakhine State. So in Rakhine State, we have Myanmars, who are a dominant group among them are the Buddhist communities. So they come and clash with whom? Rohingya communities. So they consider, people of Myanmar consider these Rohingyas as illegal migrants from Bangladesh region. Is it clear? Because of that, they actually, during the times of this military coup, many of the people, they came into unemployment problem and food rise problem, and in that they started attacking violently whom? Especially these ethnic minorities, Rohingyas. And they were forced to move out of their country because many of them were actually they lost their lives also in the communal attack which happened in Myanmar, and some of them actually came in boats, and even they died while getting, before reaching the Bangladesh or West Bengal, and some of them are actually like getting refugee status in India also. They have settled in West Bengal, Assam. They are now refugee in India, and India has provided them temporary asylum to them. We have not actually done like Israel. Is it clear? Yeah, because Israel in this Eritrea problem, what they did is they forced these people to depart compulsorily to move out of Israel. That's why it was in news. And considering this like issue which is happening in Myanmar, many world countries, starting from USA. USA was the one of the country which openly criticizes the military government in Myanmar, because they have actually taken over which government? Democratic government, and USA always supports democratic ideals. That is the reason they support the Aung San Suu Kyi government, and they oppose whom? The military rule. Is it clear? And this has a global politics, geopolitics attached to that, especially in which meeting? ASEAN meeting. Because in ASEAN meeting, who are the other members? 10 member countries. And here, in this year meeting, what they have decided is, this year meeting happened under in Indonesia, who was a presiding member. And what they did is, they have decided to allot the 2026 chairmanship to Philippines. Before it was actually about to be given to Myanmar, but now they have shifted it to whom? Philippines. What is the reason they have given is that because still the military coup which was prevailing. Because of that they condemn that action. So chances of UPSC asking you prelims question on that is more is there. Is it clear? So what is this issue? It is about, it is like they don't wanted to conduct the ASEAN meeting in Myanmar, because the democratic rights and civilians' rights of equality, liberty and rule of law, they are not followed over there. Due to that, the other member countries, what they felt is that if we go and give the chairmanship of 2026, if we conduct in Myanmar, means it will antagonize USA. Is it clear? So to soften it, they actually postponed they actually transferred the chairmanship to whom? Philippines. Is it fine? Next topic. Marine sand extraction. See, with respect to this, why it was in news is, there is a marine sand watch. Marine sand watch, it is an app, data platform which was developed by UNEP. UNEP, it is a department related to United Nations Environmental Program. United Nations Environmental Program, we have Center for Analytics, a department under that. They have developed a new data platform or app which is called as Marine Sand Watch. And what this app is going to do, it will provide data especially about how much marine sand extraction, illegally how much marine sand or how much quantity of extraction legally or illegally which is happening across the world. The data on marine sand extraction will be given by this app. It is a data platform. This is developed by UNEP. It is an United Nations organization. Where it is headquartered? UNEP. Any idea? Search it. UNEP headquarters. So this organization has developed this, and if you see need in exam prelims, where it is? Nairobi in Kenya. Headquarters is in Nairobi in Kenya. This marine sand extraction has serious environmental problems, and even it will disturb the coastal communities also. That is why we need to understand this. So what are some of the problems is, see, marine, when we keep on extracting the marine sands, means either it in a legal or illegal manner, what are the problem we may face? First, with respect to disturbing the marine life and organism. See, marine sand extraction means what? This is the coast. And in the coast, that is on the coastal surface we have beach sand. Is it or not? That sand can be collected, or even under the sea, under the sea bed, under sea bed. also we can take the marine sand. So marine sand extraction means not just collecting the sands from the coastal surface, it also involves taking the sand under the bed, under the ocean surface. So this has serious problems for whom? First is it will affect the marine life organism. Will it affect marine life organism? Then it will create noise pollution and it will affect water turbidity. That is clarity. Clarity will get affected. Because of that, nutrients will get altered. Nutrient will get altered. Then what are the other problems we may face by extracting sand in coastal and under the sea? Fishermen, coastal communities' life may be vulnerable because see now from the ocean water will come and erosion will happen more. If you keep on taking the sand means what will happen? There will be more water which will infiltrate into the fishermen communities, their houses. So because of that coastal erosion or coastal communities may be affected. Affected or they will turn vulnerable. Then what are the other problems? By extracting marine sand, tourism will get affected. Yes, so tourism will be affected. Now, if you see the maritime zone of India, not India, in general, the first layer we have is inland water. This is the boundary means initially we have inland water, then for 12 nautical miles, we have, what is that first one? Territorial sea. Territorial sea. Second layer is next to 12 nautical miles is contiguous zone. Then this 200 nautical miles is exclusive economic zone. After that it is high seas. See in the high seas now if you see any minerals, any resources if they wanted to do extract means we need to take the permission of International Seabed Authority. International Seabed Authority, and currently if you see India has the permission of International Seabed Authority to do high sea mining in Indian Ocean region. That is polymetallic nodules. Polymetallic nodules. What is the problem is these nodules are available in Indian Ocean in lot of quantities, but the technology which is required to process it and make it into use is considered to be very costly. That is the reason India is not exploring. But we have already permission to mine which one? Polymetallic nodules. So the high seas in the ocean regions, generally if you want to go for any usage of resources or to exploit it, we need to get the permission from International Seabed Authority. But with respect to other regions, if you see, that is we have territorial sea for first 12 nautical miles, then it is followed by contiguous zone and then exclusive economic zone. Exclusive economic zone means what? That country only will have exclusive economic rights to exploit the minerals which are there. Is it or not? And international airspace also is regulated in territorial sea and inland water. That is up to contiguous zone. So this is the international airspace. So remaining space they need to, it comes under the domain of national airspace. Is it clear? Yes. So why this is important? Because marine sea extraction plays an important ecological role. If it is not stopped means we may also face problem of more salinization. Salinization. That is saline water penetration. Just see here. let's take, see, now we have this Arabian Sea, Bay of Bengal. Yes, in the Bay of Bengal region, coastal area, you have completely taken the sand now. You have taken the sand. And because of that, the sea water may infiltrate into the coastal area. Is it or not? And because of that infiltration, see here, because of that infiltration, it may also enter the groundwater. It will mix with groundwater, seawater, when it comes to land surface more. And because of that, the groundwater may turn salty. Yes, so that is what we mean by seawater infiltration or salinization of soil. Yes, that can also be a serious problem. Now we'll go into this PPT and we'll try to revise all the things what we have discussed. Yes. Yes, what is G20? We'll see. Everything you have understood, some idea you got. 7 topics. G20 among them is very important. Europe is important. Black Sea Grain Initiative is important. Yes, Asian Summit, BRICS Summit, and then followed by G20 Summit. Again, we can expect some preliminary questions on this. Either it will come in geography, map-based questions also. Is it clear? Yes. So going into G20, how many members are there? 19 members plus one organization. What is that? European Union. Yes. And why it is considered to be very important is, see, in G20 it represents 80% of the world GDP. Why G20 is considered to be more relevant, and even it represents more than half of the world population in these 20 countries. And why, when it was formed 1999, that is followed by Southeast Asian financial crisis, and then later the summit level from 2009-10, that is after the global economic crisis. And what are the 2 tracks? We have finance track, another is Sherpa track. What is finance track? It is the, and central bank governors, they will be meeting. Who is Sherpa? Is like an representative or an ambassador who carries out the administrative policies, decisions will be taken as part of behalf of Prime Minister. Yes. So with respect to member countries, we have diagram, we will see there. And see, we have not discussed this grouping. Totally in G20 we have around 5 groups, and in the 5 groups, each group has 4 members. 5 into 4, 20. And in the 4 members in the group, India belongs to group number 2. Is it clear? And group number 2 consists of Russia, Saudi Arabia, not Saudi Arabia, South Africa and Turkey. It consists of Russia, South Africa and Turkey. Just add this fact. Prelims they may ask maximum, but in mains no need to remember this and all. And it follows based on what system? Triokia system. What is Triokia system? Previous president, current president and next president, they will work in coordination to ensure continuity and consistency. Yes. And here G20 also works with various international organizations like Bretton Woods twins. What are they? World Bank, IMF. Then we also have WTO, OECD. OECD's headquarters is in Paris. OECD, its headquarters is in Paris. And World Bank and IMF, you know, its headquarters is in where? Washington, remember? And International Labour Organization headquarters is in Rome. Yes. So it almost, and WTO headquarters is in where? Geneva. So all these international organizations, they provide support to G20. Even during 2008 financial crisis, this many organizations, they have given lot of funding, especially to the many countries of the world. If you see that G20, when it met at the summit level in 2009-10, when I said, remember, that time, many these international organizations, they have sanctioned loans to the countries. Why they sanctioned loans? To stimulate demand. Is it clear? They gave lot of cheap loans. And what are the issues which are discussed here? See, they discuss on climatic change issue, they discuss on most serious global economic issue. Yes, they also discuss about taxation issue, resolving the taxation and against terrorism. Yes, and global health, climatic change. Yes, so energy, tax evasion, agriculture, all these are important. So these are the areas which this G20 is expanding its discussion or cooperation over the years. Yes, the most important among them is energy, climatic change and terrorism issue, which is more relevant for India. So what is relevant for India in this G20 meeting? See, we are generally bothered about cost of remittances. When any Indians, when they are sending money to, especially through other banks to India, means they are facing lot of increase in servicing cost. So we are asking them to reduce. Second, tax evasion. What is tax evasion? Legal or illegal? Huh? Illegal. And many countries, they go and invest money in where? Tax haven countries. Remember, what are tax haven countries? Countries which are having zero tax or almost near to zero tax. So in this process, what the many countries are doing is trying to evade the tax by making their money, by shifting their profits from India to other countries, and there they end up paying no tax to the government. So to prevent this, India is actually asking for the cooperation of all these countries. And terrorism, we are asking them to give a sound voice. Second, climatic change, especially Paris Agreement. To implement Paris Agreement, what we require? I already said in class. Two important things are funding and technology. With respect to technology, the problem is patent rights. So developed countries, if they agree to give their, compromise their patent value, then many poorer developing countries may get benefited. That is one thing India is asking for. Second is funding. So because developed countries have polluted the atmosphere for longer period of time, they have more responsibility to give money on its part, so that poorer or least developed and developing countries can adopt the technology or cost whatever they require. These are the things which India is concerned about in G20. Now, what are the achievements or strengths of G20? As I said, it is more inclusive because it tries to have discussion with NGOs, civil society, youth groups, business leaders, government organizations, international financial institutions. Flexible. Why it's flexible? Because it will take up whatever issue which is there in the world. For example, this year they have, in New Delhi declaration, we have come out with a statement on Ukraine issue. So we make up statements, we counter the countries who are going wrong, not only economically as well as politically here, but we also give more relevance to energy sustainable development goals. What are the problems in G20? The biggest problem is whether whatever they are making, is it legally binding? Yes, not enforceable, not legally binding. This is a big problem. And second, it is also an informal group, since it does not have any permanent office or secretariat. Yes, so these are the G20 countries. Remember, in here we have Canada, USA, Mexico, Brazil, Argentina. Then in Africa we have only one country, which is that South Africa. Middle East we have Saudi Arabia. Then Europe we have Britain, France, Germany, Italy, Turkey. Then Asia we have Russia, China, India, Japan, South Korea, Indonesia, Australia. Remember, kindly try to remember this, because UPSC has already asked a question. Again they may ask. Is it clear? So this year meeting was the 18th meeting. Last year it was the 17th meeting. One more thing, you kindly write it. This year we also called some countries as guest. And in G20 there is always a permanent guest. That is Spain. Spain is a permanent guest. In addition to that, we invited some other countries this year. Bangladesh, Egypt, Mauritius, Netherlands, Nigeria, Oman, Singapore, Spain and UAE. So how many countries? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So 9 guest countries this year that can be asked in prelims. Triokia, you know. Who was the Triokia? Last one was Indonesia. This year it was India. Next year it was Brazil. So they formed the Triokia for this 18th G20 summit. Guest countries written. Anyways, you will get the PPT. No need to worry. Yes. Coming to simultaneous election. What are the things we have discussed in simultaneous election? See, the idea is good, implementing both the Lok Sabha and State Assembly election at one go. But the problem is we have to consider the diversity of the country, population, and their interest. Yes? Clarity on cost. Because cost is, it is not going to be a cost effective mechanism, rather it may increase the cost. Is it or not? Why? What is the problem? We need to procure additional electronic voting machines, additional VVPAT, voter verifier paper audit trial machine, and storage facilities we require more. So these are the some problems in simultaneous election implementation. But the good thing what they are saying is it will, what are the good thing you can say? Huh? Government can focus more on developmental policies rather than always focusing on which one? In elections. So they can concentrate. But if in India, if you see today, some states have simultaneous election. Note it, Andhra Pradesh, Arunachal Pradesh, Odisha, Sikkim. These 4 states are having their state assembly election in sync with which one? Central assembly election. Lok Sabha polls. So, Andhra Pradesh, Arunachal Pradesh, Odisha, Sikkim. Now we have to bring in all the remaining states. That is going to be a big task because we require constitutional amendment also. Representation of People Act amendment, constitutional amendment. Then you have to make changes in rules of procedures in both the houses of Lok Sabha as well as in State Assembly. It's a very big task. Law Commission has supported the government to go and implement simultaneous election. So it was in practice till 1967. This is what I was saying. Even after independence, for 20 years we had this system. But now we have lot of issues because no confidence motion, as well as because of anti-defection law. Continuity of the government cannot be ensured. Even due to emergency, state emergency, the continuity of the government cannot be ensured or stabilized. For that, what we require is constructive no confidence motion. What is that? What is the difference between no confidence and constructive no confidence motion? In no confidence motion, the government who is not able to prove the majority in the house, they will be dismissed. But here, in constructive no confidence motion, the next person will also be chosen that time only, so that it will ensure stability in the system. This is required for simultaneous elections in India. Yes. So what are the advantages they are saying is saving, that is Law Commission is saying. Law Commission, if you see, it is a non-saturatory body. Write it. What is saturatory, first of all? Huh? Not constitution, by parliament. Constitution, if it is mentioned, means it is constitutional body. If you are creating with the help of parliament, means that is saturatory body, with the help of law. But if you are not creating in parliament as well as in constitution, then it is what? It can be executive body. Non-saturatory body means what? Not by acts of parliament. And it is also a non-constitutional body, because constitution nowhere mentioned Law Commission of India. So it is a non-saturatory, non-constitutional body. Clear? Yes. So Law Commission has recommended quoting some benefits. What are the benefits? Cost will come down and administrative problem will be reduced. Government policy can have continuity, and even administrative focus will be on development rather than elections all the time, because that is what is happening in India. Most of the time our Prime Minister is either going for foreign trip or for domestic trip. Domestic trip means for elections, foreign trip means what? For his convenience. Yes, foreign policy whether we are dealing or not, but yes, almost many countries he have traveled. Diplomatic relations, they are saying it is improving after Prime Minister visit, but that we have to wait and watch. Even our Prime Minister met Chinese President in BRICS summit, but after that summit, their reaction is not positive. They are saying that it is negative. See, when two countries highest level, when they are meeting means, now they met just 2 months back, not even 2 months back. In BRICS summit in South Africa, they met just 1 month back. What they discussed about land issue, that border issue, where it is happening, Arunachal Pradesh and Pangong Tso Lake region. Remember, Leh Ladakh region. China is creating problem with India. And what happened is, BRICS summit just 1 week before, China released a map claiming that portions of Arunachal Pradesh and Leh Ladakh region as part of their territory. Even before the BRICS summit, after the summit. And even they went to the extent of saying Arunachal Pradesh as southern Tibet. They have been telling this long time. So, due to this controversy, our Prime Minister also met Chinese President Xi Jinping during the BRICS summit. But after that, now in the G20 summit, which is considered to be a historical meeting for India to showcase its leadership and boost its image, at this moment, Chinese President and Russian President did not attend the meeting. It sent a big negative message for India. Our image actually got affected because we are not now enjoying the confidence of whom? Two big countries in Asia, that is Russia and China. So we need to take up the confidence of whom? USA along with us. That is why in this year meeting, our India has actually openly condemned that is not condemned. What we have told is to find a solution for war soon. And in one way, they have made a bold statement also against Russia to stop the war. Is it clear? This is something which has been missing in India's approach in the last 1 or 2 years. Now we have come out with that with a bold standing. In addition to that, the challenges in simultaneous election is feasibility. Why feasibility? As we said, state election in emergency anti-defection law, if it gets disturbed due to no confidence motion also, then simultaneous election will be questionable. Then it is against federalism. Why against federalism? What is Article 1? India, it is called as Bharat, is Union of State. That is why our Prime Minister directly attended the G20 meeting with the nameplate of Bharat only. Who will require permission to change the name? Already Constitution has given me the permission. But as a secular country, we should have some responsibility. And second, we should get the consent of the people also as a democratic government. That is what is required. And present form is more beneficial. Why present form is more beneficial? See, more elections are happening now in India. Because of that, more people's opinion are getting heard. And because of that, more accountability is there in government. If there is no election means what will happen? Only 5-year election means, then there can be chances of more corruption in the system. Just because elections are there, at least politicians are coming and visiting the people and trying to understand their issues. Otherwise, if you keep only election for 5 years, people's accountability will be compromised. And we require more machines also, electronic voting machines. That will increase the cost. And the national issues or national parties will get priority over regional issues and regional party. Yes, and one more thing. Note this, which we have missed. There are some countries which have already implemented simultaneous elections. Just note it. Some of them are Sweden. We have South Africa, Sweden, Britain, Germany. Totally 4 countries which are implemented simultaneous elections. Sweden, South Africa, Sweden, Britain, Germany. Especially 2 European countries, Britain and Sweden. 1 African country, 3 European countries, sorry. Britain, Sweden, Germany, 3 European countries and 1 African country, South Africa. They have implemented simultaneous elections. India is in the process. Written? Sweden, South Africa. What are the countries? Britain, Germany. Try to remember. E-rupee we know. What is E-rupee? It is same as fiat currency. What is fiat currency? All the currency notes which are in circulation, coins are referred as fiat currency. which are considered to be legal tender, and who bears that responsibility? RBI. RBI is the one, RBI governor is the one who is giving that promise to the people that how much money is printed, that value is assigned to that paper. Yes, so it is same, no manner it is going to differ, and we have various types here. What are they? Wholesale, retail. And what is wholesale is about? What transaction is discussed here? Government securities and shares as well as interbank transfers will be covered. Retail is peer-to-peer transaction. Yes. So what are the advantages of e-rupee? It will cut the cost of printing currency. What the experts are saying is, by printing the paper currency in India, our RBI is spending roughly around approximately 5,000 crores. 5,000 crore, which can be saved by going for which one? Digital rupee. This is one big thing, good thing. And second, it will reduce our dependency on dollar, because we are trying to make this digital rupee as a international, we are trying to internationalize in our trade relations. We wanted to settle internationally because it is a peer-to-peer transaction without involvement of intermediary. So cost of servicing fee will be very less. So exporter, importer, when they transfer means they will not be charged any commissions. So it will work in trade relation in a better manner. That is why India is trying to, already in talks with Russia, UAE and Saudi Arabia to trade in Indian rupee. Yes. And what are the problems we have? Digital divide and financial illiteracy. Even today, we have a sect of people who are vulnerable sections, who are devoid of any technology, internet, yes, and financial awareness. So it may exclude the financial inclusion which government is trying to do in this e-rupee. And what is Black Sea Grain Initiative? When it was done? Last year in July 2022. Between who are the countries who played a major role here? Who are members of it? Russia, Ukraine, UN, and mediator was Turkey. When it was done? Last year. For how many days? 4 months, 120 days. Yes. Why it was done? To resolve food and fertilizer price increase. Mainly to control the food and fertilizer prices. And why it is important? Ukraine and Russia are considered to be the bread basket of the world. That means what? They supply the lot of world for which one? Wheat, barley, rapeseed, sunseed, sunflower oil, all these are supplied in large numbers by these countries. So they are considered to be the bread basket of the world, which feeds the world countries. And this is, I have given wrongly, commission. It is not commission center. Joint Coordination Center. I have written it as commission. So here it consists of 4 countries: Russia, Turkey, UN, and Ukraine. It have all their representatives, and anybody who wants to trade in their country, they need to register with this JCC. They will ensure them proper monitoring and safe passage, which is important, because while doing trade, somebody should not attack on these people. So what we require is humanitarian corridor, which will be created as part of Black Sea Grain Initiative. Is it clear? And why Russia exited? Because Russia said it's not benefiting them very clearly. Because they are unable to do the payment system, banking, insurance services, they are unable to get. Because most of them were frozen by Western countries' sanctions. Is it clear? And even what they said is Ukraine, which is exporting these food items, they are not exporting to poorer African countries. They are exporting to high income countries. So in any way it is not benefiting the people. These are the reasons it said and came out of the Sea Grain Initiative. And now recently in the last 1 week we are trying to again revive this Black Sea Grain Initiative. But UPSC, after reading all this Black Sea Grain Initiative, UPSC may come out with geography question also. They may just ask you who are the countries which border Black Sea. Yes. So this is what I have been telling. What are the things they supply? Wheat, barley, sunflower and other essential items, both Ukraine and Russia. Yes. Next one, this one. This is United Nations. This is the thing which that commission, write it. We have not given the expansion. United Nations High Commissioner for Refugee. It was created in 1950. About Eritrea we discussed, remember? That organization. Just write it. That time I was unable to give that expansion. United Nations High Commission for Refugees. It has got 2 times Nobel Peace Prize. Remember that. For working for refugee problem, it has been awarded 2 times refugee. This has seriously condemned which country now? Israel. For what? For their actions on Eritrean people. They belong to Horn of African region, one of the poorest countries of the world. This Horn region. And these people, because of human right violation, they moved out of Eritrea and they landed in Israel. But Israel forced these people to move out of the country. They are not actually given refugee status, but they are member of this United Nations High Commissioner of Refugee. Whoever is member of this, they need to follow principle of non-refoulement. Remember? Yes? So this is the principle I have been telling. Principle of non-refoulement. So its convention is in 1951 and another is 1967. Another thing related to that is right to asylum. So what is this principle of non-refoulement is? Write it. No one should be returned to a country where they would face torture, cruelty, human punishment or irreparable harm. This is the principle. So you should not make them to go, because you know that if they go back to their country means they may face any problem. In that condition, don't do that. That's what this law is about. United Nations High Commission for Refugee. High Commission for Refugee. Under this, we have this protocol. That is principle of non-refoulement, very, very important for your prelims exam. What is very more than important here is India is not a member. Be very clear with that. If you are a member means we need to follow. India don't need to follow, but still we follow the human rights. We give asylum status to many people. Those who are come to India on humanitarian grounds, even to Rohingyas, we have given them refugee status in India. Not like Israel. And again, one more right is what? Under this, we have right to asylum. What is asylum? Anybody who left a country and is in the process of reaching a destination. Till then, they will be referred as asylum. Then, when they become refugee, once they were recognized, legally allowed to settle in their country, he becomes a refugee. So now what happened is, Eritreans on masses were actually forced to move. So it comes under violation of which one? Right to asylum as well as principle of non-refoulement. And India is not a party. Is it clear? Yes, but we also try to come out in the past with separate law for asylum, but we have not passed it. So no need to remember. And ASEAN, what about ASEAN? We have discussed about not giving the chairmanship for Myanmar in 2026. It was actually given to Philippines now. And in this we have how many countries as members? 10 member countries. 10 member countries. Yes, so this ASEAN, it was founded in when? 1961 in Bangkok, in Thailand. Yes. And last topic is marine sand watch, marine sand extraction. What is the app or data platform? It is marine sand watch. We have written no? Marine sand watch. So this will give information about sand which is happening. And in India, if you see, what is very important is we have 2 categories of mineral. One is mineral and major mineral, another is minor mineral, and sand in India is classified as minor mineral. Write it, very important. It is classified as minor mineral in India. So it needs to be protected, and so whatever extraction we are doing on these marine coastal areas, it needs to be stopped. So data will be provided by this app. So they do this, that is mining process in 3 ways, this extraction. One is dredging. What is dredging? Under the ocean, taking a what? Scoop, like a scoop of ice cream. You are going using a machine and taking sand from where? Under the sea bed. That process is dredging. Mining is, with the help of technology, you break the rock. Harvesting means you are naturally allowing in the coastal area beaches for the river, sea water to come and deposit the sand on the coastal surface. That is natural action. Harvesting is natural. Remaining two are, it is we go and actually like exploit the mineral. That is, one is dredging, second is mining. They will not ask question on this. Just for your concept clarity, try to understand how we generally extract the that is marine sand. Yes, and in India, how much we are exploiting? Between 4 to 8 billion tons of sand. We are annually, not India, it is like every year in the world, 4 to 8 billion tons in the world sand are getting extracted, especially marine sand. And this will disturb the, which one? Marine ecosystem. Marine ecosystem, water clarity, turbidity, noise pollution. Yes, it will all will be affected. And who created this app? It is developed by whom? United Nations Environmental Program, headquartered in Nairobi. That is capital of Kenya. And what are the impact which we have discussed? Turbidity problem may happen, and then nutrient alteration will happen, and then noise pollution will happen, coastal community will get affected, and then salinization problem and tourism problem, everything which we have written. Clear? Yes? This is simple topic. What we need to understand is, it is developed, this app is developed by whom? That is UNEP. And sand in India is a minor mineral which we have written. And the seabed under the oceans are actually coming under whose control? International Seabed Authority, which has been established in, write it, which year it was established? 1982, under UNCLOS, United Nations Convention of Law on the Sea. This is the organization which has classified the maritime zones into which one? Territory, inland water, territorial sea, contiguous zone, exclusive economic zone, and high seas. This classification was done by this organization named as UNCLOS, United Nations Convention on the Law of Sea. Yes? Retana? Yes, this is a mains question. Try to answer in your home. Write it if you want, write it. Try to write it in a 15 marker. That is, how many words? 250 words. UPSC previous year question this is. And what is the time limit for this answering this question? 9 minutes, maximum 10 minutes. Don't write beyond that. What is the question? Coastal sand mining, whether legal or illegal, poses one of the biggest threats to our environment. Analyze the impact of sand mining along the Indian coast, citing specific examples. See, they themselves are asking you example. Without example, kindly don't write. Try to give examples for each of the point you are writing. Try to bring various geographical location. Don't write example from one state only. Give one example from northern India, northeast, southern, western India. Are you getting what I am saying? And in addition to that, this question, it contains two components. What they are asking you to analyze. So while writing the impact, say that whether it is positive impact, negative impact, or neutral impact, or no impact. Be very clear and go into the data, try to bring diagram, but you have the answer from our discussion. Is it or not? What they are mainly asking, coastal sand mining, it poses one of the biggest threat to environment. What threat it is creating? Threat to marine ecosystem as well as threat to coastal communities. Is it clear? So you need to talk also about more about the salinization of soil, that is groundwater which is getting infiltrated by seawater because of this. Yes, and coastal communities who may face problem because of coastal sand, marine sand extraction. And before concluding the answer, in the conclusion or introduction, try to talk about Marine Sand Watch app, which is a way forward or conclusion to the answer. Is it clear what I am saying? Way forward, you don't need to write separately. Bring it under the conclusion itself. Is it fine? You can do this is already a UPSC mains question. I have not created that. They have asked this question where it will be asked in GS paper 3. Paper 3, you have topics like environmental pollution, conservation, environmental impact assessment. In that topic, this question can be asked. And coming to this question, we have already tried, right? Yes? Okay, fine. So any doubts from the topics which we have discussed? 7 topics we have discussed now. First is G20 Summit. Again, we will have one more session on G20 Summit, mostly next week, where I will only discuss about the outcome of this today's meeting. I'm waiting for the final New Delhi declaration. What we have discussed till now is a bit of semi-formal news what we got from our Prime Minister's speech. He himself said that consensus has been arrived in the G20 meeting this year, and surely they are going to come out with statements regarding criticizing Ukraine also, and allowing the inclusion of African Union as its member. So these are some updates. Apart from that, what are the things we are doing on climatic change and energy? We need to wait. Then, second topic, what we did, simultaneous election. Simultaneous election can be asked in mains examination. Mostly this year, those who are writing mains, I am expecting that question. Regarding prelims, the scope is very limited. They may ask you the basics of elections. Election Commission of India. Then third topic, E-rupee. E-rupee is very important for your prelims for economic section. Then, which one? Black Sea Grain Initiative, very important again for your prelims, international relations or organizations. Then next one, what we have seen? Eritrea's issue, human right issue, in that the principle of non-refoulement is very, very important again for your prelims. Then Asian Summit, BRICS Summit, again today we have seen is G20 Summit. Remember all the organizations, founding year, members, their objective, what is the strength of the meeting or summit, or weakness in the summit, or challenges for the organization. And along with that, what you need to remember is whether there was any recent meeting this year where it happened, what is the outcome. This is something you need to remember for all the international organizations. Next, what we have seen? Marine sand extraction. That is important for GS paper 3 mains. So already a question has came, but again, as I say that UPSC, they have repeated so many times in the past, same questions. Same questions they have repeated in mains also, prelims also. So try writing answer for that question, and in the next class when we come, you can we can discuss the answer for that. Is it fine? Any doubts? No doubt. All current affairs thing you are reading. Last week also we have covered some 7 issues. Along with that, the previous classes also, science and tech we have covered more in the last 2 classes. So this class we have covered on other economic, political, international relations. Next week we will try to enter few other zones. Is it clear? But what is the idea behind this class is, it's an issue based approach class where we cover one issue at a depth as much as we can from the scope of requirement of exam. Is it clear? So try to revise it and come, so that you can retain this information and it will help you. Fine? We'll meet then again next week. Thank you.